Alright, today I have myself the BitFenix Naos ATX mid-tower case. Of course, well, by BitFenix. Let's go ahead, dive right in, and see what she's like. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over some of the basics first before we really start to, go in depth here and analyze this puppy. But this is going to be a mid-tower case, steel and plastic mostly. You're going to get it in, this one's in black, but you can get it in several colors like blue, white, red, kind of silvery accents. You'll be seeing that here in the screen, so you do have an ample amount of, variety of colors that you can get this chassis in. Dimensions are going to be 185 by 429 by 470 millimeters. It's going to support mini ATX, micro ATX, up to ATX. 2 5¼ inch bays, 3 3½ inch bays, and 3 2½ inch bays. And each of these bays, sans the 5¼ the hard drive bays specifically have sleds, and the 3.5 specifically, the sleds actually kind of split apart in the middle. They expand a little bit, so installing your bigger mechanical hard drives becomes much easier. They are kind of flexible too, so not that it would have really needed, to split out apart like that, but it does help, and it does make installing them a cinch. So as for cooling, it comes with a 120 millimeter fan included in the back as exhaust. In the front, it doesn't include any with the chassis alone, but you'll see that I have actually included some of BitFenix's Spectre red LED 120 millimeter fans here in the front. So those I did include myself. They went ahead and sent those along as well, so thanks to BitFenix for that. They accent the case lovingly. They're very, very quiet. I've installed them with the rubber vibration dampeners as well, so I honestly can't even hear them. Like, they're dead silent, and I think they're running at a pretty low RPM as well. PCI expansion slots, you're going to have 7 of those. I mean, you'd expect that for ATX. I/O, you have the USB 3.0 and 2.0 in the front, along with your front panel audio, microphone. Bottom-mounted power supply, along with a dust filter along the bottom of that. You do as well have a front dust filter, obviously there for those front 2 fans that I did put on the case. And a lot of the expansion here and, functionality here for adding things and whatnot is tool-free. You just kind of want to go ahead and remove these things by turning them and locking them into place, and then putting your drives in. And the sleds, to point out, once you do put hard drives in, they're pretty sturdy. Many people for nearly the past decade with these kind of toolless free sleds for your drives always complain, oh, they feel pretty flimsy, but once you put the drive in, it's not going anywhere. Okay, it's not made of papyrus. So I think you're okay. So mostly at the end of this video, guys, I am going to be, I think, just going a little bit more handheld and talking about the case and my experience. But just to sum it up a little bit, as you can see, I've already built into the case, there is a system on the inside. This is an FM1 first-gen APU rig by AMD, a 3870K. Slightly overclocked, but we're not, so much going over performance when it comes to that. We're just, want to build into the case and see what it looks like. Now, I was able to do it. It does work. Everything is fine, and cable management is as good as it's going to get, being that this is a very entry-level, economically priced case. I mean, I want to say maybe it's $10 more than maybe I would have liked, considering what you get. But I haven't really, even though, construction-wise, it doesn't feel the greatest. Aesthetically, though, it's very pleasing. It has a window in the front. On the outside, you wouldn't guess that it's a more economically entry-level placed case. Yeah. So it's more entry-level for sure with how it feels, not necessarily with how it's priced. I would still, say $10 less maybe, but that's just my opinion. But building into it, it wasn't super easy. There are a few things you have to keep in mind that I will address here shortly. I'm going to try to not make the video too long. But if you do want, the nitty-gritty, then please do pay attention. And I'm not knocking the case in any way, but every product, usually, has its pros and maybe a few cons. Hopefully, usually, the way to do things right is that a product has more pros than cons. If you have the opposite way around, then something should be remedied. I'm running out of stuff to say, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright guys, Rooster here. I just want to go ahead and add this little bit to give my my 2 cents here, you know, all in kind of first person, if you will. I'm going to go over a few things here that I just didn't want to narrate, I guess. I just wanted to get up close and personal here with you guys. And yeah, you know, I try to make my reviews in general succinct, but also thorough. I try to find a middle ground. I'm not perfect, and nobody is, you know. Anyway, so moving along from that, I want to talk about cable management within this case specifically. Now, if you want a case with superb cable management and you want it to look as pretty as you can, this is not going to be the case for you. Now, I'm not saying don't get this case. You don't want to hurt your wallet. You're on a budget. You want a gaming case or just an overall case that looks better than something absolutely horrid, without, especially the ones that are like 20, 30 bucks that have jagged lines everywhere and make it look like a robot thing. But all in all, they're still cheap. Then this is great. Clean lines, clean aesthetic, and it's got a frickin' window of all things, so you can see your stuff. And any stuff that you may not want to see can be tucked back here. And thankfully for the side panel, having, you know, a big chunk of the steel here blocking all this off, you're not really going to see it. So that's one thing to point out. You're going to be hiding a lot of your stuff behind the hard drive cages, smushing them back there as well as you can, you know, tie them down so the other side panel does close down as well. Okay, my biggest gripe here is you do have to put, I'm going to put the ISO all the way up here because you guys need to see this. It's going to look horrible with the noise in the video, but you can barely see that. That's the 4-pin, you know, EPS 12 volt, you know, whether you have a 4-pin or 8-pin. It's actually an 8-pin, but the board only has a 4. You know, there it is, right there. The way this is coming out, if you put your motherboard first, let me derp. If you put your motherboard first, you're not going to be able to get that pin, that 4 or 8 pin to your motherboard to power your CPU. It's just not going to happen. You got to route that through over there first, and it was even mentioned to me to do first before assembling anything. And I conveniently forgot. I was so distracted that I put everything in, and I'm like, no, damn it. So I literally took everything out again, disassembled everything, and put it back, and then routed it through there. But it's such a tight fit because it's directly to the back left. I'll show you in a moment. I'll go to the other side. That the motherboard is literally smushing it. It's smushing it back there. It's just tucked up by the fan, and it's smushed like the motherboard would barely go in. So it doesn't matter what motherboard you have, or whether your 4 or 8 pin is more top center left than top far left. This one's kind of top far left, but it doesn't matter. There is no room at the top of there's just nothing going on up there. There's just no room. So whether it's the far top left corner or somewhere the top middle, it's just going to be a nightmare. Now, be patient. You can do it. Obviously, I've done it. It's just really smushing the cable back there. It's not a comfortable fit, but I did get the motherboard in. It even looks like this is slightly the PS2 and whatnot. It looks like it's not quite flush with the I/O shield, because it's kind of just the 4-pin is right here. It's like literally wedged against this black metal here and behind it. That's, yeah. So let me show you. Here it is. Look, it's right there. And the motherboard is just literally right there. That's the motherboard. See that solder? That's the motherboard. I would like to see them put it, I don't care, man. Put it over here. You have a little bit of room, maybe. Maybe, I don't know, slim this down a little bit and make the notches for the panel to slide a little bit less pronounced, maybe. I don't know, maybe you can make it work. But you're still going to have very little room even at the top over here. So maybe they couldn't avoid that. But keep that in mind, be patient, or else I would have had to come from this side somewhere and then go across the motherboard to the top, and then you're always going to see that cable. I mean, if it didn't have a side panel window, then it wouldn't really matter because you're not going to see it. But if you're OCD and you like cleanliness, neatness, then that's going to drive you crazy for a little bit. And you know, us tech gurus, PC builders, you don't have to be OCD when you start. You start to get OCD when you realized how much better you can make your systems look with clean, tidy cable management. So trust me, OCD doesn't have to run in your family. You don't have to grow up with that shit. It just happens. So here we go. As you can see, much tidier. Look at that. Like, I mean, right now it's also big as the lighting, but once you put the side panel window, all of this is going to be blocked. all this over here. You're not gonna see your drive, you're not gonna see the stuff that you tucked back there, you're just gonna see this. That's all you're gonna see. And thankfully all that's black. It would have been nice to see some of the front panel connectors, you know, sleeved up a little bit higher, but you can try and I'm on a roll today, making up new words as I do this review. And yet, you're still gonna have this area down here. See, the cables show a little bit, but it's no big deal. You can situate them a little bit better back there, maybe use some ties. Or if you want, though it can get messy, you can use some electrical tape at the end of the USB and front panel audio ports. But, you know, with heat, that tends to get a little bit gooey, so maybe you may not want to do that. Just leave it, no big deal, unless it really bothers you. And yeah. So it does look tidy. It's clean. At least it's clean. It's as clean as it's going to get, but it's still totally doable. And I think did I lose one? I don't know if I lost one of the toolless things now. I don't even know. And the only other thing that I have to say about the case, for the price, this is just totally my opinion, I would say 40, 45 bucks. I see this going for 50 to 60 bucks. I don't think I saw 70, I think I saw 50 to 60-ish, you know, depending where you look. That's all right. But for the construction of most of the top is sturdy. Bottom is cages there. That's pretty sturdy actually, especially when they roll the edges here. That's also not going to get you cut, which I did get cut, but it was actually due to the motherboard, not the case. I thought it was the case when I was trying to shove the motherboard into place, and I guess, well, because it's fiberglass in there, and that kind of cut into me. But the side panels are a little flimsy. They're not, you know, the best sturdy side panels I've seen, but hey, you know, you get what you paid for, and it's a pretty case, and I would rather definitely have a case like this versus a $20, $30 just rinky-dink, no-name something. You know, even if it is all black, it's just gonna fall apart if you sneeze on it. This is pretty good. I would say bring the price down just a hair. Make it more competitive for just simply how it feels. And a few of the cons, though they're not that big of a deal, clearly it can still be done. Look, I built into it, so if I can, you can. It's not rocket science. Just be patient and don't, you lose your patience, you make a mistake, you break your motherboard, something, I don't know. You know, blame yourself for that. Don't blame the manufacturer or something. But yeah, so there's my 2 cents on that, I guess. So there you guys have it. That has been the BitFenix Neos mid-tower ATX computer case. This one's in black, clearly. If you like I said, there's various colors that they offer this chassis in, so go visit them at bitfenix.com, including check out their other chassis as well if you'd like to see what your other options may be. Leave your feedback below in the comments. Let me know what you think. BitFenix will be checking out the what you guys have to say about it, your feedback. Visit their website. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you liked it. Dislike if you disliked it for whatever reason. But if you did dislike it, go ahead and share as to why. Hopefully the video wasn't too lengthy for you guys, but I did want to go ahead and add that last bit of 2 cents for you guys so you know what my experience was with the case. And my voice totally broke there a moment ago, but that's okay. I go through puberty at least 2 or 3 times a week. Yeah. Anyway, that was too much info, but who cares, right? It was funny. So subscribe, like, and see you guys in the next video. That wasn't supposed to happen.